Madami Bande, and good morning, everyone. Good evening for everyone in West Hemisphere. Welcome to lesson 27 on the Compendium of Feelings and Roots. I am the meeting co-host who will be helping Bante and everyone in today's session. May we invite Bante to start the teaching, please? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Let's start our today's Abhidhamma study. Paying homage to the Buddha. Let's recite Namo Tassa 3 times together. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Now we have finished the second chapter of Abhidhamma Sangaha, which is called Cetasika Sangaha. So now it is time to start the third chapter, Pakinnaka Sangaha in English. In English, it is translated as the Compendiums of Miscellaneous. So there are different types of compendiums mentioned. So in this lesson, or lesson 27, we are going to focus on the compendium of feelings and roots. So here, the word compendium, the word pakinnaka in Pali. The word pakinnaka sangaha. Pakinnaka is translated as miscellaneous because in this chapter there are 6 sessions. It is missed. Explain about the 6 sessions in different case, different direction. But in this chapter, the main focus is 53 associated mental factors, associated states. So 53 associated mental states. Here, mental state included the consciousness. So 52 mental factors and 1 consciousness. Altogether, 53 mentalities will be analyzed by different ways. So if you read the Abhidhamma Sangaha text, there is the usage te paññāsa, the number te paññāsa. Te is 3 and paññāsa is 50. So te paññāsa, 53 dhamma. So what are the 53 dhamma? The consciousness and mental factors. So we can say these are mentalities. All are mentalities. Then in this case, the 53 mentalities will be analyzed according to their intrinsic nature, sabhava in Pali. So focusing on their intrinsic nature, 53 dhammas will be analyzed in this chapter. And here, all 89 citta. So 89 citta or 121 citta in large. They are regarded as a single dhamma here. So that's why it is counted as one, because they have the same characteristic. So if we focus on the characteristic, although the cittas are classified 89 according to the associated mental factors and according to the function they perform. If we focus on the characteristic, so they all have the same characteristic of the cognizing an object, that's aware to the objects. That is the characteristic of all citta. That is why, according to the characteristic, Chitta is 1. For the 52 mental fetters, they are counted separately because they all have different characteristics. Each of them have their own characteristic. So Phassa, Vedana, all of them, they have the different characteristics. We already studied them in the Chittasika chapter. So altogether, 53 Dhamma. These 53 Dhammas will be classified by way of feeling, by way of root, by way of function. So feeling is Vedana, root is Hetu. So here in this lesson, we will study about the feeling and roots, about the compendiums of feeling and roots. So we were trying to analyze 53 Dhamma by way of feeling and by way of root. This is not a new one. We already studied. We have already studied that this classification in the at the end of the Chitta chapter, consciousness chapter. So the function classified by way of function. This is Kicca Sangha. Function is called Kicca in Pali. And door, object, and base. So door, objects, door is the dwara, objects, aramana, and base, uttu. So in this chapter, there are 6 compendiums or 6 sessions. So we will study all of them in 4 weeks. So that will be very short duration to study this and this session, these compendiums on this chapter 3, Pakinaka Sangaha. So our Abhidhamma learner usually regards this Pakinaka Sangaha is quite difficult compared to the consciousness chapter and mental fetter chapters. Because in the consciousness, in the Chitta chapter, the enumeration of consciousness come. And in the Chittasika chapter, the enumeration of mental fetters and association method and combination method. But here in this chapter, the consciousness and mental fetter will be analyzed by different way, 6 ways. That is why it seemed quite difficult for them. But actually, if we really understand and really focus on the practice of former 2 chapters, this chapter is not so difficult. So we take only 4 weeks. I think you can study them in these four times of our study. Here in this lesson, we will focus on the Vedana Sangaha and Hetu Sangaha. That is the compendiums of feeling and roots. So there in the compendiums of feeling, we will analyze the consciousness, especially focus on the consciousness. If we can analyze the consciousness, according to the mixture method of the Visuddharama Sayadaw, the mental fetters will come into counting. If you take consciousness, the mental fetter will follow, because consciousness never arises as a single Dhamma. It is always accompanied by mental fetters. So you already know what are the associated mental fetters for each consciousness. That is why whenever you consider about the consciousness, all the mental fetters come together. In the first compendium of feeling, the consciousness and mental fetter will be analyzed by 5 kinds of feeling. So we will study what are the five kinds of feeling. And in the second compendiums of roots, the consciousness and mental factor will be analyzed by 6 roots. So 6 roots also already know. Then in the third compendium, the consciousness and mental factors will be analyzed by function. So 14 functions. So the number is quite larger. That's why it must little bit difficult. So in the third compendiums of function, so there are 14 functions and 10 stages. So 14 picture and 10 thana to analyze the consciousness and mental factors. And in the fourth compendiums of doors, so the mentalities will be analyzed by 6 doors, dwara. And in the fifth compendium, by the 6 objects, 6 aramana. And the last compendium will analyze by 6 bases or watu in Pali. So this is the 6 compendiums of 6 sections in that chapter of Abhidhamma Sanghaha, Pakinaka Sanghaha. Then here, types of feeling. Abhidhamma Sanghaha mentioned the 3-4 feelings and 5-4 feelings. This also not new. We already talked about this in the Chitta chapter and as well as the Chittasika chapter. So here 3-4 feelings comes in terms of its effective qualities. So pleasant, painful, and neither painful nor pleasant. So in Pali it is sukha, dukkha, and adukha, masukha. Here adukha, art is the negative form. So adukha, masuka, masuka also asukha. So coming together by 2 words. So adukha, masuka. Here mat is insertion. So in this way, 3-4 feelings and 5-4 feelings. In 5-4 feeling, sukha, dukkha, same. And somanasa and domanasa. So joy and displeasure. Here upekha, equanimity. This 5-4 feeling is enumerated according to the governing faculty, indriya. So according to the governing faculty, it is called in Pali indriya. So by way of effective quality, feeling is only 3. By way of faculty, feelings are 5-4. In the chapter 7, we will study about the indriya, governing faculties. There are 22 governing faculties. The Buddha mentioned 22 faculties. Among them, the feelings is counted as the 5 faculties. So these are the feeling is analyzed according to the governing faculty in the real. It becomes the 5. So what is the difference between these 2 enumeration, 2 groups? So sukha in 3-4 feelings, sukha. So here also sukha in 5-4 feeling. But in this case, it is divided into 2, sukha and somanasa. Because sukha is pleasant bodily feeling, and somanasa is mental feeling, pleasant mental feeling. So the translation comes in joy. But actually, the word sukha and somanasa, it has the same nature of the pleasant feeling. Pleasant feeling through the body is sukha. Pleasant feeling through the mentalities, only the mentality is somanasa. So this becomes 5-4. Then For the dukkha, painful feeling also, in the threefold counting, only dukkha. It does not differentiate whether it's bodily or mental. And in the fivefold feelings, it is different, divided into two: bodily, painful, and mental displeasure. So dukkha and domanassa. So then in threefold feeling, the last one, dukkha, adukkha, masukha. That feeling is equanimity, same as equanimity. So it's just the usage is different. The feeling is the same. Here in this case, only sukha and dukkha. That's why very easy to say adukkha masukha, a neutral feeling. So threefold feelings and fivefold feelings are the same. Just the enumeration, the way of enumeration is different. So now we understand there are threefold feelings and fivefold feelings, but in essence, and they are the same. So for the fivefold feeling, what is the difference between the feelings? Because we already know feeling has the same characteristic. All types of feeling have the same characteristic, experiencing the taste of the objects, experiencing the taste of the object. So, but here, that a single Dhamma of feeling is divided into 5. So what is the difference among them? So the first one, sukha, pleasant feeling, it has the characteristic of experiencing a desirable, tangible object. So here, you may remember tangible object is through the touching. Tangible object comes through the touching. And you can aware that object through the body sensation. So body sensation. So sukha, the pleasant feeling experience that a desirable, tangible object. So desirable, it must be desirable object, and it must be tangible object, which is to aware through the body sense. Then dukkha, the painful feeling has the characteristic of experiencing an undesirable, undesirable tangible objects. So this also tangible object, but here undesirable, not desirable. Because as you know, the sukha is result of the wholesome karma. That is why that is kusala vipaka, wholesome resultants. It is one of the wholesome resultants. So it must be desirable. And dukkha, produced by the unwholesome karma, as a result of unwholesome karma, it is undesirable objects. Both are tangible objects because they can be aware through the bodily sense. Then somanasa, join, as a mental join. So it is no more tangible. So it is not a tangible object. It is just a desirable object, desirable objects. So experiencing desirable object is the characteristic of somanasa. And for the domanassa is undesirable objects, experiencing undesirable object. That is the domanassa, the characteristic of domanassa. So the former two, sukha and dukkha, they are experiencing a tangible object of desirable and undesirable. And somanassa and domanassa just experience desirable and undesirable. So it covers all. Then upekha, equanimity, the characteristic of being fed as neutral. So upekkha, equanimity, has the characteristic of being felt as neutral. It does not go to the focus on the desirable or undesirable. Whatever comes is keep the neutral condition, neutral state. That's why it is called upekkha, or in other way, it can be said as a adukkha masukha. That's why it is neither pleasant nor unpleasant, or it is neither pleasant nor painful. So this is the different characteristic of the 5 types of feeling, although they comes from the same essence of mental feeling. Okay, although Abhidhamma Sangha mentioned only 3, 4, and 5, 4 feelings, there are another classification in the Sutta teaching. So the Buddhas explain the feeling in 2-4. So there are 2-4 feelings, sukha and dukkha. So if we follow this teaching of the Buddha, feeling analyzed in 2-4, what about the equanimity feelings? So here, the equanimity or neutral feeling is divided into 2. The blameless neutral feeling is included in pleasure because it has the nature of a blameless. And dukkha, painful, cover the blameworthy neutral feeling. That's why the other blameworthy neutral feeling is included in the dukkha. So neutral feeling enter to the sukha and dukkha. That's why the Buddha just explained about the sukha and dukkha. This explanation will be quite difficult. So we just need to understand in the way the Buddha explained feeling in 2-4. So it also includes the neutral feeling too. Then feeling as a single Dhamma. Sometimes the Buddhas mention feeling as one. Yankinchi vedayidam dukkasmin. So whatever is felt. So whatever is felt refers to the feeling. Other than the feeling, nothing can be felt. Nothing can be felt. That's why whatever is felt, that is feeling, is included in suffering. So in this case, all types of feelings are included under the suffering. So it is one as a single Dhamma. Then in this case, suffering, dukkha, includes all the conditional phenomena, because all the conditional phenomena are under the influence of a nature, impermanence nature. That is why whatever impermanence is suffering under the sufferings. By this nature, all types of feelings are impermanence. So all types of feelings are conditional things included in the conditional thing and sufferings. It is one type. So this is just for the knowledge to know feelings are sometimes 3, sometimes 5, and sometimes 2 and 1 also in the Buddha's teaching. So when you understand feelings can be divided into 3 or 5, then if you miss this classification when you read the sutta or when you listen the Dhamma talk, if you learn about the 2-4 and feeling as one, you will get confused. That's why I just explain about the other classification of the feeling. Okay, so we already studied about the consciousness and mental factor by way of feeling. How to analyze, you already know. And here in this case, we study in the lesson 18, a consciousness classified by way of feeling. So here you see the different types of feelings in the different group of consciousness. So from the bottom, it is unwholesome group, ahituka group, and kamavachara sovana group. So these three groups are sense-pure consciousness, sense-pure consciousness. Then the fourth one, rupavachara, five material sphere, and arupavachara, immaterial sphere. And the last one, lokuttara, supramande. So all of them are analyzed by the feelings, by way of feelings, because feeling is one of the universal mental factors, sabha, chitta, sararana, chittasika. So feelings accompany to all consciousness. That's why the analyze by way of feeling is very useful. So here you can see only in the ahituka consciousness, sukha and dukkha. Then dominance are only in the unwholesome consciousness, only in the unwholesome consciousness. And the other upekha, equanimity feelings, and somanas are joined. You can find in every group, every types of consciousness. So if we count only one sukha among the 89, so only one consciousness is associated with sukha. So in this case, if we talk about the only one, this is the bodily consciousness of the wholesome resultants, wholesome resultant bodily consciousness. So there, because it is included under the group of Vipancha Vijnana, two set of fivefold consciousness, that Vipancha Vijnana. So it associates with only 7 universal mental factors. So we understand the consciousness, bodily consciousness, and 7 universal mental factors come in the group associating with the sukha, the pleasurable feeling. Then there's only one. So among the 89, you can find only one in the ahituka group. Then dukkha also you can find only one. They're also bodily consciousness because they experience the tangible objects of a desirable and undesirable. Okay, so we get the 2. Then the somanasa, the 62, you can count in 62, in akusala 4, ahituka 2, and since we are beautiful, 12. So it is divided into only two types of feeling, somanasa and upekha, dividing half by half. And 5 material sphere, so 12 somanasa. And in the lokuttara enlarged is 32. So altogether 62 somanasa among the 121 consciousness. Then for the dominasa, so displeasure feeling, it is mental displeasure. So it is only 2 in the unwholesome. So by seeing this classification, you can understand whenever the other types of consciousness except unwholesome, you cannot feel unpleasant, unpleasant mental factors, unpleasant mentalities. So unpleasant feeling is only in the akusala. Then the last group, upekha, equanimity 55. So in the Abhidhamma Sangaha, the text mentioned that the rest, so avasesa. But here we can count in the unwholesome group 6 and ahituka group 14. Sense sphere beautiful 12, but only 3 in the 5 material sphere group. But all the immaterial sphere 12 are upekha. And the 5th jhana of the lokuttara, 5th jhana upekha. So altogether, 55 upekha. So this is the enumeration analyzed in the third chapter of Abhidhamma Sangaha. But we already studied about this at the end of the first chapter or Chitta Sangaha. So we already know how to analyze. But here, the explanation comes, the countings of the Arupat Vachara comes in the different ways. But here, in the Chitta chapter, the Akusala Vipaka, Kusala Vipaka, and Ahetuka Kiriya, so come in 3 groups. But in the Chitta chapter, so in the Pakinaka Sangha, in this third chapter, it will analyze in different way, but just the name is different. Just the name is different. The enumeration and the group of consciousness are the same because it cannot be changed in different way. Okay, so now we understand how to analyze the consciousness by way of feeling. Then, so let's continue about the hetu. And okay, before we go to the hetus, the one thing to finish this, to review the lesson 10 slides. So here in the lesson 10, in this slides, we study about how the consciousness arises. So eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness, and mind consciousness element. So how they arise, we already studied. So when the objects and sense faculties come together at the same time, when they arise at the same time, they encounter in the present moment. So visible object and eye coming together in the present moment. So something to see and something to capture. The visible form is come together at the moment, like standing in front of the mirror. So the visible form, visible object appear in the eye sensitivity. Then when it is combined with the other condition of the attention and lights, so eye consciousness arises. In this way, the sound and ear sensitivity coming together and ear consciousness, and smell and nose sensitivity come together at that moment, nose consciousness arises by the other condition. Then taste and tongue sensitivity. So objects and sensitivity coming together, tongue consciousness arises. Then here, the tangible objects, which is the group of the materiality of earth element, wind element, and fire element. 3 elements come together, it is as a form of the tangible objects. Then coming together with the body sensitivity, the body consciousness arises, which is divided into sukha and dukkha. Then mental objects and life continuums of bhavanga, that is the manodwara, the mind door, is mind consciousness element arise. So here 28 matter also explained. There are 4 great essential in 28 matters, and the other 24 are derived material phenomena, those arising depending on the great essential. So 24 arising depends on the great essential. So great essential are basic form of the materiality. Also, we already studied this about this, and based on this understanding, the question comes in why the 4 pairs are accompanied by equanimity. So in the Vipanja Vijnana, 2 set of 5-fold consciousness. So the former 4 pairs are accompanied by equanimity. If you understand about the rootless consciousness, the classification of rootless consciousness by way of feeling, you understand. Their former 4 pairs are accompanied by equanimity. So in this lesson, we will focus why. And the former 4 pairs, as you know, the visible object, sound, smell, taste, these are the objects. The impact of these 4 sense objects on the sense faculty. Sense faculty refers to the eye sensitivity, ear sensitivity, nose sensitivity, and tongue sensitivity. So when they come together in the present moment, like a touching of these 2, but not really touching sometimes. And the touching is very weak because both are derived matter, upada rupa. There is no essential elements in this group from the object side and also from the faculty side. All are derived matter of upada rupa. Upada rupa arise depends on the essential materiality, great essential 4. So they are weak than the great essential. That is why touching of these two groups, 2 materialities, derived matter, is weak. So it is compared to the events, the 4 balls of cotton placed on ampules. So here ampules and stuck by the 4 other balls of cotton. So you know the cotton balls are soft items. Touching these 4, although the cotton balls are placed on the ampules, which is the hard materiality, which is hard things, and touching these 2 are very soft because the derived matter arise based on the essential. So compared to the ampules, essential materiality, so placed on the cotton ball on the ampule is derived matter arise based on the essential materiality. But when it is touched, it is stuck by the cotton ball, the other soft item. The touching cannot be strong. It is weak. Then, because the touching or the impact is very weak, so it is come with the neutral feeling. It cannot go to the pleasurable or displeasurable sides, just in the neutral feeling. Then, what about the 5th pairs? 5th pairs is kaya viññāna, so body consciousness. Body consciousness, the one is dukkha and one is sukha. So unwholesome result is dukkha and wholesome result is sukha. Why they becomes dukkha and sukha, not keeping the neutral feeling like a former 4 pairs? So the reason is when the 5th pair of body consciousness arise, the impact of the object and faculties. The object side, it consists of the 3 primary elements, 3 essential elements, essential materiality. So the object is a group of the 3 essential materiality. That is why it is not very soft. Then on the body faculty, touching that group of materiality consisting of the 3 primary elements. Touching the body faculty, although the body faculties is derived matter, the touching is strong, the impact is strong. So it is compared Now, when the ball of the cotton placed on ampoule stopped by the hammer. So here, the primary element is the hard item compared to the hard items because there is not very soft. That is why not stuck by the cotton ball anymore is similar to the stuck by the hammer. But the item to hit is the soft one compared to the cotton ball. But it does not stop only on the cotton ball, just continue to the ampoule. In the same way, when the tangible object touch to the body sensitivity, it does not stop there in the body sensitivity. It continues to the base of the body sensitivity, which is the primary materialities. That is why it becomes dukkha and sukha. So bodily pain in unwholesome resortance, it becomes dukkha. And bodily pressure in wholesome, sorry, here should be wholesome resortance. Yeah, we need to change the sukha in wholesome resortance. It must be wholesome resortance. So in this way, this once we already explained in the Ahetuka Citta study also, but here repeat it from clear understanding. Then why it difference in the physical pleasure and physical pain. So depends on the objects. So when desirable objects appear based on the desirable object, the physical pleasure of the body consciousness arise, and when undesirable objects is come or appear due to it is condition of the karma. So the objects we encounter is come produced by the karma. So that's why our resultant consciousness also depends on the karma. So desirable object and physical pleasure, undesirable object and physical pain. So here, based on the physical condition, physical things. But this is what we have to understand in the third chapter of the Abhidhamma Sangha about the feeling, compendiums of feeling. So let's continue to the roots, compendium of Hetu. So Hetu Sangaha. So this slide also from lesson 18 and lesson 4. There are 6 types of Hetu and 3. Lobha, dosa, moha are unwholesome, and alobha, adosa, amoha are undetermined. So they are called abhyagata. Abhyagata consists of wholesome, resultant, and functional. So 3. It can be variable in beautiful sights. So here only lobha, dosa, moha, 3 are non-beautiful, unwholesome. So we already know 6 types of roots. Then when the consciousness arises, if there is no mental factors or roots accompany, that consciousness is called the rootless consciousness. And when the consciousness arises, if any of 6 types of roots accompany, that is called sahetuka. So consciousness with roots or accompanied by roots. So ahetuka citta and sahetuka citta. Then among the sahetuka citta also, if that consciousness is accompanied by only one root, it is called the ekahetuka citta. And if it is accompanied by 2 roots, it is called dvihetuka citta, double-rooted consciousness. And if it is accompanied by 3 roots, among the 3 roots, it is called tihetuka citta, triple-rooted consciousness. But there is no consciousness accompanied by 4 roots because they have the different nature, unwholesome 3 and the other undeterminate 3. They have a different nature. They cannot mix together. They cannot arise together at the same times. That is why only 3 in measurement amount they can arise at the same time. Then another usage also, Ahituka Pukala, the individual at the moment of rebirth linking, there's no roots. There's no accompanying roots. That person is called Ahituka Pukala and Sahituka Pukala. If the rebirth linking consciousness of Pratisandhi is accompanied by any root, it is called the Sahituka Pukala. Okay, so let's try to classify again. So by way of roots for the consciousness and mental factors, here we will focus on the consciousness, and you can understand, you can apply them to the mental factors too. Then this also already studied in lesson 18. Let's review. So according to the classification of consciousness, and here roots. So in the unwholesome consciousness, single rooted is 2. What is the single rooted? We will see that. Just remember the number among the 12, 2 are single rooted and 10 are double rooted. And rootless consciousness, there's no roots. And since we are beautiful, so divided into 2, double rooted 12, triple rooted 12. And the other higher state of consciousness and 5 material sphere, immaterial sphere, and supramundane all together, we can say the Mahakata and Lokuttara 35 are all triple rooted consciousness. Then, so triple rooted consciousness, 35 and 12 become the 47. They are called the 47 jnana sampyukta. When the jnana arise at the moment, you may remember the other 2. Jnana is one of the root of the amoha hetuka. Jnana, amoha, the same, we already know. Then the other 2 are lobha and adosa. You can consider in which group they contain, and they are in the beautiful universals. So in studying in Abhidhamma, according to our traditional way, we need to keep the former information in the mind so that we can easily continue our further study. So Alobha and Adosa, 2 mental factors contained in the beautiful universal. That is why when our beautiful consciousness arises, they already arise. So, but here, 2 roots of Alobha and Adosa. So when it's accompanied by the amoha panya, it becomes the 3 rooted. That is why jnana sampyukta 47 all are triple rooted. And double rooted 22. So what are the 22? Here you see the double rooted. And just I mentioned that the Alobha and Adosa, whenever the beautiful consciousness arises, Alobha and Adosa accompany, because they are universal beautiful. Then by the absence of the amoha hetuka, wisdom faculty, it's become only 2 roots. Here, 2 double roots are Alobha and Adosa. But in the akusala, so akusala, lobha and dosa. So for the lobha mula consciousness, the roots are lobha, and moha is the background runnings all the time of the unwholesome consciousness. That is why moha also included in the lobha mula consciousness. So lobha and dosa, 2 roots, and lobha and moha, 2 roots. In case of the dosa mula consciousness, dosa roots, and the others, the moha roots always running. That is why in case of dosa mula 2, dosa and moha. So here, double rooted 10 in the unwholesome. These are lobha mula 8 and dosa mula 2. In this way, 10 Anhosan, 10 from Anhosan, and 12 from Sense-Sphere Beautiful. This becomes the double-rooted 22. Then for the single-rooted 2 is Mohamula 2. In case of Mohamula, there is no Lobha, no Dosa at the moment. So the others are beautiful, not related to the unwholesome consciousness. That's why a single root is Moha. So Mohamula 2 has the Moha roots. Then for the rootless, it is clear there is no roots. So in this way, altogether 89 consciousness are classified by way of Hetu. Not difficult. So all the information are easy to keep in the mind for the further study. Then, okay, let's analyze the 18 rootless consciousness. So for the other group, single rooted 2, double rooted 22, and triple rooted 47. So here, let's see the rootless Ahetuka 18, only the Ahetuka 18. Then for the single rooted, is so delusion rooted Mohamula. So as they have a single root of delusion, not related to the Lobha or Dosa. Okay, for the double rooted 22, so here we need a 2 group, 10 in the Anhosan, 12 in the Jnana Vipayutta. So green rooted 8, hatred rooted 2. And in the Sense-Sphere Beautiful 12. So altogether 22 double rooted. And the Jnana Sampayutta 12 and then 35. Yeah, altogether 47 triple rooted Tihetuka Chitta. Then so 18 Ahetuka and Sahetuka 71 becomes the 89 consciousness. 71 types of consciousness arise with roots, together with roots. Sometimes it is arise with the single roots, sometimes double roots, sometimes triple roots. But all of them we can name as a Sahetuka Chitta because they have the accompanying roots, accompaniment fetters of roots. So what is the difference between Ahetuka Chitta and Sahetuka Chitta? So for the Ahetuka Chitta, it is unstable. So unstable because there's no accompanying roots. So unstable like a moss. So floating on the water, the moss, and also the moss are not stable because there's no roots. And 71 Sahetuka Chittas are compared to the trees with the roots. So it's firm and stable. So this is explanation from the Abhidhamma Sangaha, and you can read for more understanding the comprehensive manual of Abhidhamma. Again, there are the 2 sessions of Vedana Sangaha and Hetu Sangaha. So for today's lesson, we finished 2 sessions of the chapter 3. So the rest session we will continue in the next lesson. So I'm going to stop here. My explanation. We continue to the Q&A session and discussion.
Can Ahetuka Pagala, who is reborn in the good realm, human or lower deva realm, do an action based on a 3-rooted wholesome chitta?
Okay. So this question, about this question, we will discuss for the full understanding about this question in the chapter, 4th chapter of cognitive process. There we will count what types of consciousness can arise in which person, what types of person. So there the question will be answered. But here we can say that they can perform for the short answer. They can perform. They refers to the Ahetuka Pukala, so they reborn in the good realms. That is why they are called the Sukati. So Sukati Ahetuka Pukala. They also can perform the action with the three roots. So jnana sampayutta hosan can arise. But jnana sampayutta vipaka. So hosan can arise, but the resultant cannot arise. So there, about this, we will discuss in the fourth chapter. But for this question, the answer is they can perform that action. Okay.
Ande, my name is John, and I'm from United States and in Southern California. My question is that if sukha only occurs with a body consciousness, then how come first jhana consciousness also has sukha?
Yes, that is actually the word sukha can be used in both sides of bodily pleasure and mental feeling joy. So it applies in both sides. That is why in case of the word sukha, in case of the first jhana, so vitaka, vichara, piti, sukha. So that sukha does not refer to the bodily pleasure. It refers to the mental pleasure, which is known as the somanasa. So here, sukha as somanasa. We have to understand sukha as somanasa. But to emphasize that time, the happiness is present at the moment of jhana. That is why the word sukha is used. So that sukha must be understood as the mental pleasure, joy, somanasa.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Dear Bhante, for the tangible object in slide number 8, why the water element is not included in this factor? Okay,
so for that, this question also we need to discuss in the sixth chapter of the chapter of materialities. There, why the water element cannot involve in the tangible objects. That is because that is very soft materialities, very soft materiality, very smooth, difficult to know. So difficult, it cannot be aware through the sensation of the body sensation. That is why the water element is not involved in the tangible object. Although you can touch the water, it is not touching to the water element. You are touching the three other elements involved in the water. So the water element cannot be touched. That is why the water element is not included in the tangible objects. So here in this case, the water and water element is different. So in the water, the other three elements also involved there. So whatever we can touch is the characteristic, the nature of the other three elements except the water element. Water elements is like a cohesion, cannot touch like this. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, Bhante. Just following the previous question. So in the jhana, we have piti and sukha. So if sukha is somanasa, is piti also somanasa?
Of course, yes. Yes, piti, we cannot say that piti as a somanasa because piti is one of the nature. Somanasa is a feeling. So piti is another mental factor separately. But piti, we can say the piti arise with the somanasa, we can say, because the piti just arise with the somanasa consciousness. So piti and somanasa are different mentalities. So they are separate mentalities.
Okay, thank you.
How do we understand the three elements in the water?
So this is to understand these types, we need to know the indivisible group of the materiality. So materiality is not really what we are seeing. That we are seeing, what we can see is the rupa, one of the materialities of 28 in 28. That is called the visible form. What we can see, visible form. For the sound, we cannot see. That is another materiality. In the same way, the other materiality also, they are arising according to their nature in their intrinsic nature, but we cannot see them. Although we cannot see, they still arise due to their condition, and they come to present. Then we know we can know the sound through the hearing. We can listen. And in the same way, the other materiality also, they have their own nature, and they come to present in the group, and combining the millions of groups, it becomes they contain the materiality of the visible form, becomes combined. Then we can see. So our body is composed of the uncountable group of materiality arising according to their condition. They come to appear at the same moment. Then they become a group. They're inside these indivisible materialities group. So we at least 8 materialities consist. So there, water is one of them. So not only water, air, the breathing or outside the air also consist of the 8 materiality at least. So now we can understand the materialities inside and outside of us are arising in every moment in the group. So there, the group, in the group, the primary materialities are always imposed. They never absent. So in each group, the primary materialities are arising. So in the water also, the primary materialities are considering. That is why in the water, whatever you can touch is the intrinsic nature of the other 3 primary materialities. But these 3 materiality and others, so what you can see, the water. When you see the water, the part you can see is the visible form of the water. Inside the water, they consist of the visible form. In the same way, whatever you can touch is the other primary materialities. So to understand this element considered in the water, we have to understand, every materiality is composed of the group of indivisible material group. In each indivisible materialities group, the primary materialities are considered. So in the background, but they cannot be seen by the eye. They can understand, they can aware by touching. And also when you can develop your concentration enough, and then you can see by the light of the wisdom too. You can know you can know them by your wisdom. Okay.
Okay, Bante, we have another question by Dharma friend To Tiong Han. Dear Bante, it is taught that all conditioned dharmas are non-self, anatta. However, we are also taught that these mental factors, consciousness or materiality, have self-nature, vabhava. Is there a contradiction here?
No contradiction, because here the sabhava is their intrinsic nature. We cannot say that is their self. So self refers to what I know. We must ask the question here. In this case, self. What is self? According to the Abhidhamma, there is no self. That is why all the conditional dhammas are non-self. So if we say in this way, there's no self, that's why they don't have self nature. They have their own nature, or they have their intrinsic nature according to the, and want to say the natural phenomena. But this is the weakness of the language. So the self and non-self, even the use of the self, what is self? According to the Abhidhamma, we have to ask, what is self? There is no self. We have to know all the conditional phenomena are composed of the mentality and materialities. Okay.
Could Bhante please explain the different types of upekkha? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Yes, different types of upekkha we will bring at the times, in the Kammatthana Sangha. So in the Kammatthana Sangha, and at the moment of the last chapter, so we will bring, because there are different types of upekkha, and we can say the 10 types of upekkha. So Tattara Majjadada is one, and the others, the Jhanupekha and Sankharupekha, like this. So some of them refers to the what is that? The Tattara Majjadada Chitasika, and one of the manifestos, and some of them refers to the feeling. So the Viranupekha here, in this case, the Viranupekha is the one of the upekha. So we will bring later that list.
Thank you, Bhante. There's another question by Dharma friend Joseph Teng. Vandami Bhante, is the feelings in the Deva and Brahma realm and the 4 lower planes same as human realm in their enumeration?
Here in the enumeration, what does mean that enumeration? Can you define that? The enumeration of the population or something else? So what is that?
Yeah, Bhante, my question about the feeling is about what you have shared with us, all the different type of feelings, associated feelings with the different consciousness. So for the feelings in the different realms, they in terms of the different sukha, somanasa, domanasa, they are the same in terms of enumeration that you just shared with us, the different types. So these different realms, how do the feelings is being differentiated? Okay,
very good. So this Abhidhamma study applied to all, everywhere. So this classification does not refer to human realms. So in this study, we already studied about the feeling, about the hetu. They are not referring to any realms. They apply to everywhere, so every realms. But in case of the Brahma, so not Deva, in Brahma realms, there's no body sensitivities. Because there's no body sensitivity, they cannot know the sukha or dukkha, bodily sukha and dukkha, because the sensation is absent. So that is the difference. But the application of the enumeration will not be different. The same. Okay.
So those in the lower planes, so they have they only have mainly dukkha as their main feelings.
Yes.
Throughout their lifespan.
Right. Lower realms also it include the animals. So animal also can feel the desirable tangible objects sometimes. Okay.
Thank you, Bhante.
Dear Bhante, thank you very much for your teachings today. May Bhante lead us in making aspirations and sharing of merits, please.
Okay. Let's make aspiration and share our merit today. So please repeat after me. Imina punya kamena.
Imina punya kamena.
Mami bala samagamo.
Mame bala samagamo.
Satam samagamo hotu.
Satam samagama hotu.
Yava nibbana patiya.
Yawa nibbana patiya.
Idame punyam.
Idame punyam.
Asawakaya vaham hotu.
Asawakayam vaham hotu.
Idame punyam.
Idame punyam.
Nibbana sapachayo hotu.
Nibbanasa pachaya hotu.
Mama punya bhagam.
Mama punya bhagam.
Tapa sattanam bhajemi.
Sabba satanam bhajami.
Te sabbe.
Te sabbe.
Me samam.
Me samam.
Punya bhagam labantu.
Punya bhagam labantu.
Sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, thank you, Bhante, and everyone for your time and participation. Till we meet on next Sunday, may all be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.